People talk about mastering skills like it's about repetition, practice, discipline, technique. But the real secret? It's something else entirely. Something you've already felt, even if you didn't have a name for it. What if learning didn't have to feel like a grind? What if it didn't mean struggling through hours of repetition, but instead felt like you were fully alive in the moment? Clear, energized, connected. Like something inside you just clicked. The truth is, the most valuable thing I've ever learned isn't a technique or a tool. It's a way of showing up, a way of being that has the power to unlock every skill you'll ever pick up too. It's what makes you improve faster. It's what makes practice actually enjoyable. And it's what makes creativity feel like coming home. If you've ever found yourself so immersed in something that time disappeared and you forgot to second guess yourself, I'd love to hear it. Drop a comment below and share that moment with me. Or if you've never felt it, that's okay too. Just say, I'm still searching. Because sometimes stating that intent is the first step to finding it. I didn't discover this in a classroom. I discovered it on a random night at my grandparents' house with a plastic keyboard on a kitchen table, a kitchen chair beneath me, and my grandpa shouting chords out at me, while my Aunt Alicia whispered the ones he forgot. Now, you've got to understand, my grandpa wasn't the warm and fuzzy type. He was a country boy through and through. He spent his whole life paving roads, working in construction, farming. He was sharp, proud, hardworking, driven, and always on a mission. Music was his outlet, his joy, his legacy, really. He'd raised all his kids to play, built an entire family band from scratch. So when he asked me to come and play one evening, it didn't feel casual in my mind. It felt like an invitation into something sacred. And honestly, I'm just a kid at this point, and I was nervous. I didn't have much of a relationship with him yet. I was mostly a mama's boy, close with my grandma, drawn to her softness and wit. But Grandpa, he was something else. Kind in his own way, but stoic and direct, and intense when it came to his music. So I bring my little keyboard over, no stand, just sit it on the table. I'm about 13 years old, with maybe a year of piano under my belt at that point, thanks to an Elton John cassette I'd fallen in love with from a McDonald's, of all places. When I arrive, Grandpa's already set up, guitar in hand, banjo at the ready. Aunt Alicia's there too, bass in her lap, like she's been playing with him her whole life, which she has. They're ready. I sit down and then he just starts going. No warm-up, no instruction, just off to the races. Loud, fast, alive. Foot stomping even, singing at full growl. He calls out chords, A, C, G, just expects me to keep up. Alicia keeps me afloat, whispering the changes when he forgets, and I'm just trying not to drown at this point. I find myself laughing mid-song, trying to release the pressure I'm under. I'm behind, fumbling all over the keys. And Grandpa, he doesn't stop. He doesn't correct. He doesn't care, honestly. He just keeps going. And that's the moment I get it. This isn't a test. It's a torch. He's passing something on, and I'm being asked to stay in it, no matter how messy it gets. When we finish, I'm exhausted, but I see the pride in his face. I feel Alicia's quiet support beside me, and something shifts. I haven't mastered anything that night, but I have crossed a threshold. Because for the first time, I see what this kind of learning feels like. And I know I want to live there too. We've been taught that learning has to feel like grinding, like struggle, like suffering equals growth. But that night with my grandpa didn't feel like grinding. It felt like something was waking up in me. And I've come to believe this is what learning should feel like. Here's what I didn't realize at the time. That moment with my grandpa wasn't just music. It was my first experience with something I would later identify as flow. Flow isn't about being perfect, it's about being present. It's not some mystical state reserved for artists and athletes. It's simply what happens when the challenge in front of you is just big enough to stretch you. But not so big that you shut down. You're fully engaged. You're not thinking about how you look or if you're good enough. You're not stuck in the past or projecting into the future. You're just there, listening, responding, adjusting, one moment at a time. And that's when growth happens. Not in the moments where you feel totally prepared, but in the ones where you're slightly in over your head, but you stay engaged. Flow isn't something you find after you master a skill. It's actually what gets you there. Learning shouldn't feel like punishment. It should feel like engagement, curiosity, and presence. This is what learning should feel like. If you can learn to dance with it, to stay in it, even when it's messy, you'll improve faster than you ever thought possible. And more than that, you'll start to love the process itself. If you're watching this thinking, I'm not sure I've ever felt that, well, here's your starting point. Think about one thing in your life, just one, that challenges you in a way that excites you. Something that stretches you but also pulls you in. Where you lose track of time maybe. Where things feel a little bit shaky, but when you keep going anyway, you feel great. That feeling, that quiet click of presence, that's flow. Not a perfect state, not a breakthrough moment, just you fully engaged. And it's closer than you think, because flow doesn't come from trying harder. It comes from getting out of your head and into the moment. And the part of you that already knows how to do that, the part that listens, adjusts, creates, lives in your creative center. So if you want to learn how to trust that part of yourself, to create, to grow, to master anything from the inside out, go watch this next video. It's where the journey really begins.